Guys, how do I tell my old smoking friends that I can't hang out with them anymore? This is an issue that comes up for a lot of people. I see it time and time again. People relapse with their friends. It's often not alone, it's often with their old homies and smoking buddies. And what's tough and frustrating about this, because I understand if you're going through this, is that you can be doing so well and have had said no so many times, and all it takes is that one time letting the guard down and being like, all right, you know what, it can't be that bad. Boom, high as hell, off to the races, using every day, etc., etc. That's what we want to avoid, and it can be hard because the real obvious only solution that I'm sure you can kind of put together with the title of this even is to stop seeing those friends. Why is this hard? Well, because oftentimes these friends could have been with us for a very long time. They can be our ride or die homies, right? I had some ride or die homies, some guys that meant a lot to me, and we had some amazing times together. I really did trust them. And unfortunately, what we're going to talk about today is that part of growing up and maturing and just becoming a overall better rounded human being, more an adult, is realizing that even something that could have been so beautiful at one point will come to an end. Whether that be a romantic partner that you date and marry and have kids and live till you both die. One of you's dying first, and unless it's like that beautiful moment where you both die like holding hands or something, but I don't think that happens very often. So more than likely, yeah, that person's going to leave you, or you're going to leave them at some point. Now that's an extreme example, I know. When it comes to these smaller things though, there can be something very beautiful about saying goodbye even when it doesn't make complete sense timing wise to say goodbye yet. So that's kind of what we're going to dive into right now, is the mindset behind that and how to get yourself prepared to say goodbye to these friends, even if they mean a lot to you, even if they've been through things with you that only a few people have been through, etc., whatever the story may be and how they're important to you. We're going to talk about how to set those boundaries and say adios. So the first thing is to actually write down on a piece of paper, or you can use your head, of course, but I find writing it out in physical form to be the most therapeutic and to be the fastest way to healing, because you get it out of your head and it's like almost like a surrendering of the thought and idea to the universe. Is to write out, okay, how is this person, place, or thing helping me today? How are they still benefiting my life? And then obviously vice versa, how is this person, place, or thing benefit, blah, blah, blah. How are they not contributing to my life anymore, etc. Unfortunately, there might be a lot of pros. There might be a lot of things that they're helping you out with and that they're there for you for. And gosh, it's tough, guys. Unfortunately, in the one area that might be very critical to where you are right now is marijuana recovery. And the answer on how are they not helping me, it might not be yes. It might be marijuana focused. So, and it's not like it's their fault too. It's the same thing as like, okay, like if I exercise every day and someone doesn't like exercising, like I'm not going to be helpful to them if they don't want to exercise anymore, even though like I don't do it intentionally. It's not like I'm exercising so they can feel bad about not exercising. No. Same way they probably don't smoke weed to make you feel bad about not smoking weed. At the same time, it's like, it's unfair to tell them, hey, you should stop smoking weed because I'm stopping smoking weed, blah, blah, blah. No one wants to hear that, and that's just going to push them away in turn. So really, asking that question, and then let's flip it around, because recovery, and especially marijuana recovery, is all about owning your side of the street, owning my side of the street. This is something that's not easy for a lot of people, but it's the most healing, in saying that, okay, I'm responsible for everything that happens in my life, and I'm responsible for how I show up, for how I talk, for how I act, behave, etc. Even in cases where I may have been hurt, like victimized in a sense. I don't like that word. You guys gonna know what that means, though. In those situations, even, I'm responsible. If something negative happens to me, okay, I gotta ask myself, why was I in that situation? Boom, I'm responsible. Am I not willing to forgive or accept the situation for what happened? there it is. That's my responsibility. So coming back to the exercise here, it's writing out, okay, how am I benefiting this person's life? And in turn, how am I not benefiting their life? And the answer might be kind of painful to see, especially if they're still smoking weed. It's like, okay, me showing up sober probably isn't making their smoke sesh fun or better, right? So in that sense, I'm not helping them out in that situation. And this might add some more clarity too into okay, I really care about this person, so I want what's best for them too. Boom. And even though there's that attachment, which we're going to get into in a little bit. So the second part of this is to remember that goodbye right now doesn't mean goodbye forever. And there may be a point or time where you can revisit that relationship from a more mature, wiser perspective. A lot of the friendships I have had to take a step back from, I've been able to revisit again and test out. Now, I can't say we're homies like we used to. We still have that homie energy. However, it's not as we're gonna just hang out all the time anymore. Part of that is because I don't smoke anymore and they still might. So a lot of the relationship that is built now or that we have now is kind of nostalgic based. It's almost God, remember when we used to do that? There's almost a good trauma bond, a healthy trauma bond in a way. There's not too many new memories being created anymore. And that's okay. That's the nature of what the relationship is right here, right now. And I still get to have them in my life again. So if you've ever been through a breakup, they talk about this thing called no contact. No contact is basically not talking to the ex ever again. Or, well, you might, and that's what I'm going to get to, that you're basically saying, hey, I'm never going to reach out to them. I'm not going to, chase them down or do anything like that. And the point of doing this is to heal. And it's not to get them back. And this is a big mistake a lot of people make. I've done this before too. I did no contact in order to get the person to come back to me. I didn't do it because I actually wanted to heal. This time in the last relationship I've been through, I said, okay, I'm saying goodbye and not reaching out to them so I can get better, so I can become a better person, and so I can really get over them completely. And what you see a lot of times in these situations is people do that and the person comes back. That's kind of, it's interesting how that works, right? Now, a lot of times though, and this is the best situation, is that when the person comes back, you're already moved on. It's okay, I had a great time with you, I've outgrown you, you're no longer someone I want to be around. And it's a weird saying because at the beginning you would do anything for that person to be back in your life, right? Anything at all. Doing the work though, you realize that, okay, I deserve better. I deserve somebody that's a better fit for me. Not saying that one person's better than another, just that this person's no longer compatible. And it's very freeing to realize that. So think about that with your using friends, right? You're saying goodbye. You're not saying goodbye because you hate them. It's because so you can grow. And then when you do get to revisit the relationship possibly in the future, you're way more mature, way more grounded, way more based in your new reality of not being high all the time. Having that new base reality, when you do speak to them again, what you might find is that, you can, again, reminisce on the good times. However, you don't really care to grow with them anymore on the same basis. This can be hard to think about now. And I'll promise you though, when it happens, it's pretty nice. It's okay, wow, that was that. Goodbye. Every time I see you, we're gonna have a great time. Love you and wish you well. But I have my own life now. I have my own adventures to go on and my own relationships that I've developed that are suitable for me and where I am at in this point in my life. And that is just fantastic. So first off, taking some time with yourself to think about thinking about how you're going to do it. Maybe start by giving yourself some time away from them. So maybe you've been hanging out a few times a week. Practice saying no. Practice, because a lot of times people in recovery, especially that have used drugs and alcohol and stuff, marijuana, we have a tendency to people please. So we don't want to say no to people. We don't want to hurt people's feelings, etc. And this is a really hard thing to overcome. So baby steps, right? Saying, hey man, I can't hang out, today, maybe next week, right? And almost like when you wean off marijuana, you're weaning off the person. And when it does come to a time where, let's say, you give it another shot, and however you're still, very tempted when you're with them, and you're realizing, okay, like, I can't be in this environment anymore if I want to stay sober. I just know it. Then really it comes to having that really tough conversation of saying, hey man, I love you. You mean so much to me. However, due to the path I am on and needing to take some time away from weed and stuff, I have to step away from this relationship, right? For the time being, right? Now, a few things I said there that let's break down. I said step away, not I need to leave, because there's a big that can really trigger that abandonment, saying I need to leave you, right? Like, it's like, all right, just kick me in the nuts, why don't you? Right? When saying I need to step back, that's a very mature way and a very boundaried way of saying I need a break, and without that whole relationship jargon meshed around it. And because taking a step back doesn't mean I'm gonna leave, like I'm gonna run or go to a different city. I'm just taking a step back. And the other key part is saying I need to take a step back for now, because that also opens it up to what we talked about earlier, that maybe I can still have go out for lunch with you someday, or have a different sort of relationship with you, and I'm telling you up front that I don't want to cut off that opportunity. Where I'm at though right now, I need to take a step away. And if they're a good friend, they're going to support you in it, and they're going to understand, even though it might hurt them. And if they're not a good friend, or if they didn't, they weren't there for you for maybe the reasons you thought, they will get upset and hopefully just not do some gaslighty shit, like just make it all about them, and then like make you feel bad about it, like, oh wow, I thought we were really friends, wow. Like, just totally spin it around, like, hey, tells me what kind of person you were, right? Like that kind of bullshit. Like, no, I hate that stuff, man. Just keep it chill. Come on, guys, keep it chill. Someone came to me and said that, well, which people have before, it's like, hey man, all good. That's always what I say. All good. I wish you the best. Let me know if you need anything, and I hope we can reconnect one day. I really do. So it's a very mature way for the other person. So keep an eye out for that too, that how they respond, and maybe if they do respond that way, and that healthy way, that's a sign that this person is somebody that can come back in your life. This is somebody that has that level of just base maturity that, I don't know the exact percentages, but I know people that do and people that don't. So really, like, a good friend should want you to win at the end of the day, and especially like somebody that cares about you, right? Like, I want all my friends to, like, I don't, but how do I say this? I want what's best for them, and if that means me not being part of their life anymore, then I support that, because again, I want them to be the best version of themselves. And so that took me a long time to do. It did always come naturally, because like, I think because of having abandonment wounds for myself as a child, I'm like, getting left isn't the end of the world, I know. So I just know that it is more about them than it is me, and that I want them to exceed, excel, become better than I ever was, right? Like that's like what I think a good friend / mentor / support system person should do. Like, everyone I coach, I hope that they, become just years beyond where I ever could get, and then one day I get to ask them for help. Like that's kind of what I, my wish or whatever. I mean, it's whether it comes true or not, it's not really important, but it just says that, I'm really there for their best interests, right? And so you coming full circle here, let's wrap everything up, you being part of their best interest too, is acknowledging, okay, is me being sober actually helpful for them? And then 2, can I take a step back for a little while? I kind of already forgot the points we were talking about, but, and 3, if you really have to say no, and do it in the way that is, mature to yourself and respectful to yourself, honors yourself, and at the same time honors the other person. That's really going to go a long way in potentially having that relationship last for the long term, years down the line. Well, guys, this is a great video to make. I think it's a really important lesson and topic, and a thing that I've had to learn in marijuana recovery, and I think can help a lot of people, especially people that are relapsing around friends. pretty regularly. So I know it happens, and it's hard. It's hard to just say never see him again. So taking the slow and steady route, I think, can be beneficial there. If you want some more help in understanding this and maybe putting this into action, kind of creating that, I would say maybe almost script, game plan for you to begin stepping away from these friends, then schedule a call with me down below for one-on-one recovery coaching. And we will get to the bottom of what's holding you back from quitting marijuana so you can get on the track to freedom today as fast and efficiently. And that's the name of the game. I want you in and out of our coaching sessions as fast as possible so you can start living the most badass life that you've always dreamed of. And it starts by taking things one day at a time and maybe starting by booking this call. So link down below. And with that, comment down below if you also got value from this and can resonate with this topic and have any more ideas that I didn't talk about that you can share with the audience here, because again, super important topic. So with that one, guys, talk to you soon. Adios.